chapter clicked in to College Volleyball Weekly on Viral Volley Media. Now here's your host, Rob on mic.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to College Volleyball Weekly, episode 288. Who needs those other coaching panels? We've got the new head coach of Long Beach State. Well, kind of new because we see him. We've been seeing him for so many years now. It's newly named Nick MacRae, head
Rob,
coach of Long Beach State. Great to have you, Nick.
Rob, I love and appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you've done for our sport. Now you're taking over the world, so hopefully you stick around with men's volleyball because your media is taking over for every sport as it should be. And thank you for having me here with you today.
Well, totally an honor. And it's guys like you and Al and all the other coaches in the Big West. I do this. I am a hardcore fan of men's volleyball. I don't keep that secret. There's a little beach in there. There's a little women's, but in the end, I'm looking out for the guys just because such a phenomenal, entertaining, fast pace and high excitement kind of game. So, and you've been a part of it for as long as you've been alive, as long as I've known you. So I'm excited to chat about where you were, where you've come from, and where you're at right now, and then where you're going. So,
Me
um,
too.
but I was looking at the Long Beach State history. You are officially the ninth head coach of the program.
And it is the world's greatest honor. And man, hopefully I'm here for the next 20 to 25 years, but knowing at some point there's going to be a 10th head coach and 11th head coach, and I've got two variables that I'll get into and then talk about the world's greatest Alan Knipe. But my focus is to leave this program better than I found it right here for that 11th, 12th, 13th head coach and ensure that throughout my tenure here, Rob, it's to bring as many people along for the ride as possible. So let's get to it as far as Al and my story with Al. And I met him when I was 17 years old, and that was over half my lifetime ago, Rob. And I've spent more time throughout the longevity of that than I have with most of my family, and at times, especially during the season, than I have with my wife. So Alan's been a part of everything of who I am today, and he's mentored me to be in this position right here today at this very moment. And I'd like to give a shout out to the entire Knipe family because they've blessed me and my MacRae family to be a part of their lives. And that's Jen Knipe, that's Evan Knipe, and also with Aiden Knipe. I had the luxury of recruiting Aiden alongside Al. I was kind of one of his most important connections because Alan was his head coach, yet also his dad. So I got to see one of the best inside tracks of one of the best Long Beach legends and competitors in Aiden, and had a killer ride alongside him. And he's still overseas, and he's now mentoring me and getting check-ins. And I wouldn't be surprised if one day you see him and I on a staff together. So that's what the Knight family means to me. And I was 17 years old, and Alan recruited me here to Long Beach State. And I've been telling this story, Rob, quite a bit through the recruiting process. He said, "Hey, Nick, what are your interests?" And 17-year-old Nick said, "I think I'm interested in coaching." And 6 years later, I graduated Long Beach State. And at that time, when I graduated in 2012, I was actually lined up to go into Merrill Lynch, and I thought I was going the business route and going into investments. And my mentor, Alan, still gave me a call, as I will do this for every Long Beach graduate moving forward, to at least say, "Hey, how can I help? What are you going to get into? Are there any doors that I can open?" And the door that Alan immediately opened for me when I graduated was the coaching door. And I joined him and Tyler Hildebrand here in 2013, and I've been here at Long Beach State ever since. And everything from a young Nick MacRae, like, I've been surrounded by greatness every step of the way. That's all the Long Beach legends, that's the alumni, and that's the coaching staffs, and that's teed up with Alan as my mentor as well.
Yeah, that's an incredible start. And I'm definitely going to go into more detail there. But I
Sure.
wanted to go back just a little bit there because I look at how Alan got into coaching, which is through Coach Ray Rattel.
Yep.
And then Alan was inspired by his coach at Marina, Andy Reid.
Yep.
And now you were inspired by Coach Alan Knipe.
That's
And
right.
that connection, uh, one, everyone is local, which is phenomenal, which means you're invested in that community. Huntington Beach, Long Beach, Seal Beach, Los Alamitos, even parts of the South Bay. But um, I mean, it gives it more value to you. And I imagine that you really want to take care of this as a almost like a child, a baby, a family member for you.
That's exactly what it is. So I'm born and raised right here in Long Beach, Rob. 36 years old. My parents are born and raised in Long Beach, so I'm Long Beach through and through. I'm raising my three kids alongside my wife, Ashley, right here in Long Beach. So just the overall community is very meaningful to me. And I grew up when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, coming to men's and women's volleyball matches right here in the pyramid. So it is what I know. And now, to your point, you fast forward whatever, 19 years later since I was first a student athlete here, and it is the biggest honor. And the other thing that I've said and reflected on recently, like when you're a first-time head coach, you don't know how it truly is until you get to that moment. So sitting here now for the first couple weeks, I reflect of like, okay, how powerful it is when you're a first-time father and how you look out for your family. And it's the same thing now for the entirety of Long Beach State men's volleyball, how to ensure the community is along for the ride and they're protected through it. Then the university along for the ride, celebrating all of our Long Beach legends and alumni. They will forever be celebrated anytime they walk through the door right here and celebrating that legacy. And then our current guys, ensuring they are all protected and taken care of for the rest of their life, just like I have been. And then to our future guys that come through here is ensuring that they're connected, they're able to see it, able to feel it. And I get the honor of just, okay, I get to protect the entire unit. And Alan's the premier example of how he's done it too. So he taught me that way.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go off script here, and I hope I'm
Well,
staying in my lane still, so to speak. But
I don't have to
we're going to
answer.
talk.
You ask whatever you want.
All right. What's your favorite female rom-com? No, that's
Oh, there
good.
you go.
Um, but just continuing on about the roots of Long Beach, and I didn't even think about this until I was at an event for myself.
Sure.
But I mean, your dad is extremely connected with the city of Long Beach, and the
That's right.
only reason why I knew that is because I was at some hobnob fundraiser for the city
Yeah.
because my wife works for a major firm in the area, and I'm like,
Fun
Bruce,
here.
what are you doing here? And he got up and spoke at this big Long Beach Convention Center event. And he is so vested in Long Beach as well. And he's obviously passed it down to you. But what's it like having not only you, but the rest of your family so connected to the Long Beach community?
I think through the early years, maybe it was an insecurity. Like if you're talking to a young Nick MacRae, and there's two routes, and this is from a coach standpoint, from a son standpoint, or whatever avenue you're going to go into. Okay, how do I pave my own way? Or how do I now take over for some of the best? So for me, obviously, my route is to take over for the best, and that's to Alan Knipe. And then it's also to my dad, to your point of now it's at the point of this guy has helped lay an incredible roadmap for me as a father. He's connected and looked out for our community through tough times. My dad hasn't run or we haven't moved from the community, even though maybe we've disagreed from like some political stuff that's occurred. And he's just left it better than he found it, and he's brought others along for the ride. And our community of Long Beach, and this also adds with who we are within Long Beach State Men's Volleyball, you stay connected to everyone. And he was a vice president of UPS and an incredible lobbyist for years. So his job was building relationships and opening doors. So an incredible man, incredible father as far as my dad, but those are two variables right here at relationship building, open doors for everyone, and just come from pure intent. And that's my dad.
Yeah. Watching the matches at the,
Oh,
well,
yeah,
LBS Financial Credit Union Pyramid, got to
that's
say the
right.
correct
Go Bugle.
tagline now. It's just a great opportunity to see your dad courtside, and his look has changed over the years. I thought Gandalf was approaching me during the Big West Women's Volleyball Championship, but is so in love with Long Beach State athletics. And I'd like to say he only likes volleyball, but I know he probably supports everything at Long Beach State as
He
well.
he supports everything. There's no doubt volleyball is his baby. And this is Rob, I know you've got a killer fan base, so not everybody who watches this is a Long Beach State fan. When you see my father or when you connect with me, know that he is an advocate for all of youth sports across the world and for all of men's volleyball, and is always here to help any and all programs and any and all people that come to Long Beach. You will be met with love, appreciation, eye contact, and support every step of the way.
Yeah. Well, I know it's like a who's who courtside. Whenever you see people walking up saying hi to your dad, and
Right.
he's definitely poured that into you and developing you as a, well, you're not so young anymore. Sorry, Nick, but you're a young coach.
That's right. No, I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Rob.
Well, let's get into these last few weeks of events and stuff. But I wanted to find out what your response was when Alan first made you aware of his decision to retire.
The first response, it's connect with my teammate, with my wife Ashley, and then immediately is okay, how do we protect the guys and ensure the guys are dialed in? That's the first focus. Where
Mhm.
I've seen other coaches, and I've definitely researched this as far as new head coaches in our craft of men's volleyball at prestigious programs outside of Long Beach State. I definitely researched like the best of the best football coach leaderships or professional coach leadership changes. And my biggest lessons learned, and a lot of it is you actually shouldn't do it that way, is none of it's about me. And it's not
Mhm.
celebrating myself through that transition, is ensuring that our core group of guys, and that's our five seniors from Skylar, Island Doty, Dane Hillis, Connor Bloom, and Ben Braun, are dialed in, that we've
Mhm.
directly communicated with them and helped the vision and ensure that we're just with each other, and then connecting with our five freshmen who are in here, and then everyone in between. Like for the first 48 hours, it was just about our bubble. And then it
Yeah.
was spending time with our commits from the class of 2026 and 2027, of being direct and connecting with them and their families and saying, hey, this is the vision. Are we still moving forward? So that was there. And then at the end of the week, we had about 100 alumni in here, and then through all of that, it was ensuring that we're celebrating Alan every step of the way, because this
Mhm.
is also a celebration for him. And we're super excited for him and his family to kind of take a breath, and knowing when he gets out of town for a couple weeks, I guarantee you, Rob, he is not done with being one of the greatest advocates for our sport. And
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that he's going to keep doing things for our national team, and that he's going to continue to pave the way and bring professional men's volleyball to the United States. And I'll throw out like another five things, because once you throw things out in the universe, Rob, people tend to make it happen. And Alan's been
Yeah.
that guy that's been able to take action and make a lot of things happen. So we all look forward to celebrating him.
So we can restart the rumors here that San Diego State and LMU are going to get their men's programs back then.
Yeah,
Want to put that out there?
let's add about five more programs to that too, Rob.
Yeah, USD, you're due.
That's right. That's right.
Um, you know, for prior, well, once the announcement was made,
Hmm.
it kind of caught me off guard
I bet.
because I would have never thought that. I mean, to me, Al's still younger in his years as a coach, just for how long I've known him. But there are others that said, "Oh, we knew this was coming." Like, but this is a major decision, especially when you're coming off a national championship. But um, at what point did you have a sense, or did you have knowledge of his retirement?
What I've said, man, and this is from the mentor standpoint, and I'm kind of being direct, like any athletic director out there, or any, especially men's volleyball head coaches that think that your time may be coming. If you can figure out who your next head coach in waiting is, try and connect that with your athletic director. So about 3 years ago, Rob,
Hmm.
Alan did just that. And he prepared me from a mentorship standpoint, like, Nick, you are going to be a head coach. And the fork in the road at that time is, okay, are you going to go somewhere else? Are you going to venture into the women's game? Or are we going to prepare everything together? So at some point, it's going to be Long Beach State. So that decision had been made at that time where,
Hmm.
okay, it's not if this is going to come up, it's simply when it's going to come up. And Alan continued to fight even more battles in a positive light to protect Long Beach State men's volleyball. And now, as I take over, I get to take everything from a support standpoint that we have, especially now with all the NCAA rules changing, from a
Hmm.
different, from an additional scholarship standpoint, from even revenue share standpoint, everything that we're tapping into here at Long Beach State to now equip every other men's volleyball coach of, hey, here's how you should go protect your program, and here's some areas how you can problem solve and collaborate with your administration. So we don't have these amazing leaders, not because it's a bad choice, but moving away from our sport and going to do something else. We can all do this within our sport of men's volleyball and help one another through it. And Alan's helped tee me up for that.
Yeah, wow. Well, that is related to the next question I have for you is
Cool.
once what sounds like this opportunity was softly presented to you 3 years ago, but did you know that you wanted to be a head coach at this time of your career?
Yeah, I think this goes back. I kind of brought it up earlier of everybody asked, like, hey, how does it feel to take over for one of the best? You talked to me 10 years ago. I don't know if I'm guaranteed saying like, oh man, this is my path to take over for the best. You talked to me 3 years ago, it's chest out, absolutely. This is the only way. And this is
Hmm.
going you surround yourself with greatness, and throughout my entire career, I've been able to be surrounded by greatness. I wasn't the greatest one in the room ever, and even moving forward, when I'm kind of pivot, talk about McKay Smith, Amir Lugo Rodriguez, our next assistant coach we're going to bring in here, name off Tyler Hildebrand, Scott Tuzinski, all these other coaches that have been a part of my process. You want to make sure you continue to keep surrounding yourself with greatness. So then back to it 3 years ago, it's absolutely this is the only way.
Mm.
It's taking over for Long Beach State men's volleyball. It's not if, it's when. And then it's setting the next big goal. So, Rob, my objective by surrounding myself with greatness and having lessons learned and strategy planning meetings, it's at some point in my career, it's not if, it's when. I'd like to be the head coach of our USA men's volleyball national team. So that's
Mm.
what's on the agenda there. And my mentor did the exact same thing.
Wow. That's right. He had that hiatus
That's right.
where Andy Reid took over for, is it two or
Right.
3 years?
That's right.
So, again, it's a wonderful volleyball talent as well as coaching and volley IQ at the helm there in Long Beach State. Um, I'm going to ask you, as the 17-year-old,
Yes, sir.
how's it like sitting with Al and giving your options as not only as a player but potential staff member? Like, how did that all come about? Because you're at Long Beach City, well, from Wilson to Long
Yep.
Beach City
To Long
College
Beach
and then to
City
Long Beach
College,
State.
to Long Beach State. Honestly, like you'll have to ask Al how that came about. And let's say that this is who I'm going to be for the rest of my life. If someone
Hmm.
says that they have a goal and this is what makes at least our family and all I've known is Long Beach State. So if there's other coaches that do the same thing, that's awesome. And Rob, you should help them have their narrative and lens about it. But when you come to Long Beach State, all of our guys normally come in here and they have massive volleyball aspirations. So we're chasing
Hmm.
national championships. And then my objective, if you're a starter or if you don't play, our primary focus, if you want to go play professionally overseas, that is our job as a staff to help get you that pro contract overseas and open up any single door. For the
Hmm.
future Olympians, it's ensuring that we have that support mechanism in place to prepare you to go crush it with your national team and go strive at the Olympics. And then it hits a point where not every young man who graduates here is going to play professionally. Or when they do go play pro, okay, what is their next aspiration? And that is also our job. And again, this is from Alan to just open any and all doors. So all of our relationships with the deans on campus, with our
Hmm.
community members, that's my biggest lesson learned. All of us are here for our men's volleyball student athletes. The more that you state that, hey, I'm interested in this, let us open the door. And then once you're in that door, you have to put in the work ethic and you have to get it done yourself. So Alan opened up so many amazing doors for me throughout my life. And I know he'll tell you when he speaks on me, like, yes, I opened the door, and that's okay to always open a door for someone based on relationships. But when Nick was in the door, he put in the
Hmm.
work and he got it done himself, which is why I will do the same for every Long Beach State men's volleyball alum moving forward for the rest of my life.
Wow. Well, there you have an obvious passion for the sport, which I'm sure is part of your next response to my question I'm going to have for you now. But the thing is, you pursue this path of now becoming a head coach. You've gone
Sure.
all the way from being a technical coordinator to, an assistant to associate, now a
Yep.
head. But what people don't see is your extracurricular coaching opportunities you've done in the USA NTDP program, uh, different age levels, and you are constantly in that mix in the USA program, as well as like having a family, being a dad, being a husband. But it's amazing you do it with such great quality and with great respect. But what has been your motivation to excel at that level?
I've learned from the greats. Like you are most like the five people you surround yourself with. So at home, I have my person, my teammate, and my wife, Ashley, who supports all of this. And we are a team with our family bubble and our family unit. Alan Knipe, having represented Team USA, Tyler Hildebrand, Scott Tuzinski, gold medalist, even now McKay Smith, Amir Lugo Rodriguez, Andy Reid, how he's represented Team USA. Like everybody in our bubble has represented USA, and that is one of the greatest honors to represent your country. And I know this comes back to my upbringing from my mom and dad of you get an opportunity to represent your country. That is one of the greatest things you could do. So now that I am a father and that I have had 14 years from a coaching standpoint that's based on loyalty, integrity, and love. I've never, through thick and thin, through really hard times and through amazing times, I've stayed true to loyalty, integrity, love, and family. So maybe not everybody has those same attributes, but staying here in Long Beach and at Long Beach State allows me to then take that template and go out and just spread the love and spread the verbiage to every young student athlete out there. It's not that it's easy, and this is to all the coaches or community members. It's the same thing when you win a championship. That is now your objective to go out and spearhead our sport of men's volleyball to the community. It's to go in other gyms to show what volleyball looks like and to bring support and just to be an incredible advocate for our sport. So when I get to go do these USA things, it's just the greatest honor to be able to do that. I collaborate with every other coach who's there who all represent other universities. And
Mhm.
it's okay, here's what I'm doing. Can I learn something in return? And let's all unite together to give back. And if you come from pure intent, you're trying to leave it better than you found it and bring others along with you, I can
Mhm.
hang my hat on that for the rest of my career knowing I did that.
Yeah. Wow. You'd mentioned that you knew in your path that you're going to be a head coach somewhere. Now,
Sure.
obviously, your goal is to be head coach at Long Beach State, which
Sure.
essentially is your dream job, so to speak. But this is the thing with your dream job. You've got names, historic names in your program. I'm not gonna go too far back,
Sure.
but you've got names like David Lee, Dave
Yeah.
McKenzie, Taylor Trevor Crabb, TJ DeFalco, Kyle Ensing, Josh Tuaninga, Alex and Moni Nikolov. Did you ever think that you'd be in a program that generates so much of the world's talent?
I'm surrounded by greatness. And now it's my job to honor all of them and to all of the names, Rob, that you didn't say, who's given their blood, sweat, and tears for Long Beach and have bled black and gold. And for those guys that didn't get to, like, we've been a part, or I've been a part of 8 of the last 9 NCAA Final Fours with 3 national championships. There's so many years in the glory days of where this program was truly on the rise. I get the luxury to take over at the pinnacle of this program and continue to try and maintain and push for even more. But it's for all those Long Beach legends that have come through here, given all of it, and haven't had some of the luxuries that I have. It is my greatest honor to celebrate all of them moving forward. That's my job, and that's the
Yeah.
nature of it, and is another tier of what I'm very excited to do.
Well, just so I'm not disrespecting the other alumni, I know there are a lot. And
Yes,
the
sir.
only reason those come off the top of my head are because those are the people I've been stayed in contact with over the
I love it.
years here. So, but I know you got your Bittners, you got your Paul Lotmans. I mean, just look at the roster. Any of you volleyball fans, just look at the Long Beach State alumni roster, and you're
You
going to
if you
see,
if you go to our Instagram, you'll see it's at LBSU MVB, and you'll see our alumni that came out last weekend. We had about 80 to 90 of them, and we had an alumni versus alumni event, and they played each other on the court, and it was filled with a ton of Olympians, a ton of guys, even from our 1970, our original team, we had one guy there, and then from our 73 team through the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it looked like a great event. That was a massive picture of a lot of alumni that are
Yeah,
still playing the game. So I'm sure you had a lot of ice on hand just in case, because
that's right.
um, so beyond playing volleyball in the Long Beach community, um, gosh, you guys have an amazing support. And over the years, since you do have now a pretty long history with the program,
Yeah.
how would you describe that growth in the support for the Long Beach State program?
From the community standpoint, I mean, this goes from downtown Long Beach to even our local area right here. Like, we will make sure that we go out and meet our community. So we use our sport and our craft of volleyball to go out, and whether we'll do free kids camps across the community, but we got to make sure, like, that's one of our guys' job that they learn when they hear and they're representing our university. It's now they get leadership and speaking, like keynote speaking reps out in the community. And we will meet our members with a yes, yes mentality. You have an event, Long Beach State Men's Volleyball would like to be there. You have something going on here, Long Beach State Men's Volleyball would like to be there. And the advice, it's a 3-to-1 ratio. You want to always give 3 gives before you ever have one ask. And that is, we do the same thing from a relationship building standpoint. So, again, it's easy because of my mentors. This is all I know and how I've been born and raised and grew up, but I'm from this community and our guys love giving back. And in return, the
Mhm.
community loves getting back or coming and selling out the crowds and giving back to our guys. And yes, on the other side of that, they want our guys to be good. And so
Mhm.
people have asked me this question like, Nick, there's some pressure with it. What do you think about it? And pressure is one of the biggest privileges because if there was no pressure for me or even for our guys, that would mean the university doesn't support the sport. That would mean the
Mhm.
community does not support the sport. So it is okay that there's noise, positive or negative at times, if they want us to be better because they care about it. So that is one of the sincerest, greatest things that I truly respect and appreciate.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing. A question that comes off of that though is, because you do have a roster of a very diverse roster
Yeah.
from not only all over the U.S. but all
Yeah.
over the world.
Yeah.
How do you get, like, let's say someone who's kind of foreign to this philosophy to buy in?
Well, the 4 things, so throughout the entire fall, it's all about relationship building and then diving into our team culture. How do we build trust? Because everybody's from different backgrounds, different philosophies, which is great.
Mhm.
So the 2 tiers, it's okay. How do we prepare and support everybody as an individual? And then how do we ensure everybody is going for the greater good of the team? And then it's, hey, at the root of all of it, everybody, first thing, you have to take individual ownership. And then the second piece is now, how are you giving positive offers and supporting your team? So it's ownership, team, and then we can talk about anything else from there. But then the 4 core pillars we go through, it's constant growth and
Mhm.
it's connecting, it's creating, and it's competing. So at the end of every day, and I'll dive into those 4, if I can at least ensure, hey, my guys grew today, and this is also myself and our staff. I've had growth, I've had some sort of connection, I've had the ability to create, and I've competed. That is the most fulfilling day. And then we try and repeat again and again and again. So it's physical, spiritual, and mental growth, whatever tiers those are from a holistic standpoint connecting, whether it be with the community, with the university, going out and being a leader for our sport of volleyball, or simply connecting within our family and team, creating of how are we going to push to move the mark and take new risks for our sport. Again, being around those greats of Alan and Tyler Hildebrand and Cam Green, Andy Reid, now Amir and McKay, like what's next for Long Beach State men's volleyball? And
Mhm.
guys get excited to kind of push the boundaries and move the mark and put their like this year's 2026 men's volleyball team, we get to put our stamp of our philosophy and belief of how the game can be played and then competing on and off the court at the root of all of it. Just take ownership if we like it, if we have a perfect feel or we don't like it, and let's just compete. That's the objective.
Wow. Actually, you through in that response, you answered the next two questions I had for
Nice.
you. So I won't repeat those
Cool.
questions again, but um, I wanted to ask you with this current time in NCAA history, I mean,
Yeah.
there's obviously some new, I don't want to say they're challenges, but there there's some new things that all the coaches are having to deal with. And obviously being with Long Beach State as long as you have been, where do you see that going now with, and I'm referring to NIL and transfer portals, and it just seems like a hot mess. I mean, from an outsider standpoint.
I think men's volleyball, where it is right now, men's volleyball, our push is still from a holistic standpoint that we get to just push for more scholarships. That is the first tier. We're not in the threshold of football, of throwing all this additional money there. So every coach across the country should be pushing of, hey, we've been on a lens of 4.5 scholarship for years. Now, from a Title IX standpoint, women's volleyball has always had 12. Now they have more. We should have at least 12. So that is your first push if you're a head coach, if you're a community member of men's volleyball needs 12 scholarships. Because then at that standpoint, Rob, I guarantee you there's going to be 90% of coaches out there saying, wow, that's a win. Now, when
Mhm.
you're in our office, we're still pushing for even more. But 5 years from now, we'll know a little bit more. By that time, we'll have pushed even more. And I would lobby and say if any coach out there wants to connect offline, I am here to help you be a positive resource and problem solve and help pave the way a little bit as long as you're willing to put in the work. So with Alan, we've had a strategy plan for years, and through these new NC2A rules, we've been able to problem solve and again have all of it. Additional scholarships, tapped into revenue share, had the NIL standpoint, and now working strategically with our university who's on board to support. I know not every university has that Long Beach State model, so that's why I say offline, any coach can reach out. I am here.
That's awesome. Truly a great resource for sure. Um, the I wanted to also ask you particularly if there is any chance that you can emulate the Pepperdine model with Marv Dunphy to
What's
the
what's the what's
emeritus
his
coach
model?
Marv Dunphy to emeritus coach Alan Knipe.
Alan will have any and all, and it's a yes, yes, yes. Like it's Alan lives a couple miles from campus. So Alan
Yeah.
will be a resource for our staff and our guys and all of our future guys, and they all know that for the rest of their career. And it's I use the model of like Alan and now myself for the 14 years of the guys I've been able to coach, for all the alumni that have come through and that Alan has coached and looked out for his 20 to 25-year legacy. When they're gone from Long Beach State, he continues to open up all the doors. So with these
Mhm.
next steps in Alan's life, and you brought it up, he is young and he has, I mean, from the competitor that he is, he's got a lot of juice left. He's going to break down barriers for our sport and our country in a positive way, so even more. So he'll be around Long Beach State and he'll be around men's volleyball, Team USA volleyball, and doing a heck of a lot more.
Yeah. Well, I kind of jumped the gun. I actually had another question for you, Nick.
Ask.
In regards to the growth of men's volleyball, I remember even just a decade ago, there was 40 D1-2 programs.
Yeah.
Now we've got 70 plus or minus one or two, because we know some have dropped into NAIA or even a D3. But what are your thoughts on the expansion of men's and boys volleyball currently?
I think it's amazing. And like, let's even say our tournament right now, Rob, because we're going to lobby for something as we continue to give gratitude. And we always say thank you so much for the growth. And now NC2A men's volleyball tournaments at 12. So now what's our next push? We want it at 16. So how do we get it there? How do we problem solve, bring in even more community members saying NC2A men's volleyball needs a 16 team tournament. So we lobby there. And then boys volleyball across the country is one of the fastest growing sports. So now, from myself, from Alan, and from every other coach, it is our job to take our teams to those areas to create even more experiences. And I've been a part of two experiences this week that are by two different entities, and one's coaching a clinic for 200 boys, and one's coaching a showcase for 350 boys. And that's part of, for me, like that is our job as coaches and leaders to give back. So if there are people out there trying to give even more volleyball experiences, I know Long Beach State, myself, and Alan will meet you with a yes, yes mentality. We are on board to help be an advocate and a participant to grow the sport as much as possible.
Right.
We need
That's
to keep
awesome.
leaning in, Rob. We need to keep helping people lean in and support too.
Well, I mean, with the growth, a 76% growth rate over the last 10 years, that's amazing. And
That's
the
right.
next closest sport with that growth is down to like 16%. So,
Yep.
uh, greatest sport on Terraflex or greatest show on Terraflex.
Let's keep it going.
Now, a final question for you,
Yes,
Nick.
sir.
Um, as you have settled into the helm, so to speak, what is your vision for Long Beach State men's volleyball in 2026 and the years to come?
So for 2026, for me personally, I want to ensure that I'm a lighthouse. And so here's a quick story, and it's parable of, are you a lighthouse or are you a tugboat? And both a lighthouse and a tugboat do the same thing. They bring ships into the harbor. Now, a tugboat has to pull in this direction every step of the way, and there's a lot of wear and tear. And at the end of all of it, the tugboat just ends up in the junkyard, and there's a new tugboat that comes in. Where the lighthouse shows up here, it shows the light, it shows the way, and still some ships will crash, but most ships will see the light and succeed. That is who I want to be to our guys. I want to be that stable lighthouse every step of the way from a leadership standpoint that has the support mechanisms in place again for our guys, and we're showing up, leaving no stone unturned every single day, pushing for more and willing to put in the work and more work and grind than anyone else is willing to do, because that mechanism right there will train our guys to be prepared to go after a national championship, yes, but then to just go conquer in all of their lifetime when they're done here at Long Beach State. So it's continue to flex our Long Beach grit, to compete and put in the work and keep striving for these goals. And now I get to be another example by being the head coach of Long Beach State men's volleyball, the greatest job in the country. Going for a goal that in theory does not have a guarantee, but who you become when you put in the work along that path to strive for that goal, you're going to fall in love with that person. So that is my goal for my guys, for our program, and for every young man who's going to join our family moving forward.
Awesome. Well, we still have the years to come,
Yes, sir.
uh, but I'm going to assume that that's going to be keep the national
Let's
championships
keep
in
that
Long
going.
Beach.
Yes, sir.
Well, Nick, it's incredible to have all this time. I've had you this morning. The ninth head coach of Long Beach State history comes from a wonderful family, great group of, we'll say, circle of influence. The five people that he surrounds himself around, and again, wonderful family from dad to wife to kids. Always been a great face to see on the sidelines, no matter what role you're in. Although
Sir.
I have to find a picture of you in your Long Beach City College uniform or something, because that would be
Let's
a
go.
throwback.
I got some pretty big biceps, Rob.
This is Nick MacRae, head coach, newly named head coach of Long Beach State. I appreciate your time here on College Volleyball Weekly. And with that, that concludes episode 288. Nick, appreciate your time.
Love you, Rob. Go Beach.
Thanks for listening to College Volleyball Weekly. Be sure to follow Rob Aspero at the Rob on the Mic on Instagram and at Rob on the Mic on Twitter.